Jeff Cowan here from Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk, back with my weekly podcast entitled Write Service, Write Your Own Paycheck, the path to making over $100,000 a year when writing service in the automotive industry today. Now, as we're recording this, 80% of you are not making $100,000 a year, and what I recommend you do is listen to me because I'm going to show you how to make $100,000 a year. And for the 20% who are watching this who are already making $100,000 a year, you keep watching too because I'm going to show you how to make more. Now, both groups, whether you're part of the 80% or 20%, not only am I going to show you how to make more money, but I'm going to show you how to do it with perfect survey scores and how to get your customer retention well above 80%, 85% within 9 to 12 months. You're going to love what you hear. Last week's podcast, I told you this week we'd be talking about the NADA convention, and I'm going to hold true to that. You know, this time of year is when my phone really starts ringing, my email lights up, and my texting light up because everybody's getting ready for the big convention. Now, for automotive car dealers, this is the NADA convention, the National Automobile Dealers Association convention, is the biggest convention that they'll attend all year long. So there's a lot of buzz around it. So I get emails and telephone calls and texts, people saying, hey, when I go to the show, what should I be looking at? What type of things do I need to help my shop be the best, the absolute best that it can be? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to address that question with you right now. Now, as I'm doing this, though, I want to prepare you. It's going to have a little tinge to it, if you will. Because after last year's convention, there were a great number of people who attended who asked themselves, when it comes to service in the automotive industry, are we going too far into technology and not enough into our people? And what the real question was is, are we getting too far away from building those relationships and relying too much on technology? And you know, it was such a big question that there were several articles written about it. Every convention, every Dealer 20 meeting, every workshop that I did after the convention, everybody was asking that question, is there too much technology? And I'm going to answer that for you today as I'm going over these products. But I want to give you an idea of how this is going to go. Yes, we're getting too far into the technology. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the way I see it, the automotive industry is still one that requires face-to-face communication from human to human or voice-to-voice over the telephone communication for you to be truly successful. I don't know what this industry's problem is and why they keep trying to make themselves Amazon. Even Amazon understands that talking to people is the best way to sell things. I mean, 85% of all sales that are made on a daily basis in the United States of America, pick your industry, is done through human-to-human contact. Now, let me go back to that Amazon statement there a second ago. Now, Amazon's the best at selling stuff without talking to anybody. They do it mostly online, right? But did you know, as we're recording this, or going around the country as we speak and opening brick-and-mortar bookstores? You want to know why? Because they have discovered when they sell a book online, somebody will get online and buy a book. But if they walk into a brick-and-mortar store, that same person looking for that book will buy 3 books plus some other things when they're in the store. That's why they're in negotiations with a major retail department store trying to buy an entire chain. That's the reason they bought Whole Foods, because they understand there are some products, most products today, that require human-to-human interaction. So we need to get this in our mind that we're not Amazon, we're never going to be Amazon, and that we do need technology. You're going to see that. I'm going to recommend it. But at the same time, we also have to understand that we need to not rely on technology to do the job for us, but allow technology to enhance the experience. Now, I don't have a problem with technology, but I want to point something out here before I get into this. There's one more thing I think you'll find interesting real quick. You know, 10 years ago, the multi-point inspection was introduced to the auto industry, and when it was, the companies that offered that told people that if you put a multi-point inspection on your service drive, you'll get an immediate 5/10 to 1 hour increase. 10 years ago, the national average for customer-paid hours per repair order, including oil changes, was 1.8. Here we are 10 years later, almost every service department we walk into has a multi-point inspection, and now the national average is 1.3. All right? We were told 5 years ago that we needed tablets on the service drive, that it would increase customer retention. Customer retention continues to plummet. We've been told over the last several years we need online reservations, texting and emailing. And again, over the last 10 years in installing all this technology, and there's many more things we could talk about here, the numbers continue to drop. Why? Because you're relying on technology to do the job and not allowing it to do what it's there for, which is to enhance the experience. So, let me tell you what I would be looking for if I went to the National Automobile Dealers Association and how I would use it and how I'd approach it and what I would expect it to do for me. Now, you want to listen close to this because I just read a survey before I recorded this from Cox Automotive. They did a survey and found out that 70% of people who leased or bought a car in the last 12 months did not go to a car dealership for service. The aftermarket's killing you guys. They're killing you. Why? And I think it's because we're trying to get too techy. So let's just take a couple of these products on. Multi-point inspections. Do you need one? It sounded like I was bashing them a second ago. Well, here's my answer. Absolutely. I would not work in a service department as a service advisor without a multi-point inspection. Why? Because they find everything. They tell you what's going on with the vehicle. It's a great and highly valuable sales tool. I mean, think about it. If you use it from the first time you see a customer, you can create a history of what their car is doing. You can show them what you're looking at. They see their car go from green to yellow to red. They start to sell themselves. It's a great selling tool, so I absolutely would have them. But here's what I would do differently. Instead of using it the way most people use it, I would install it and then I would train my service advisors on how to present that to a customer with a 6-step benefit-based presentation, show them how to present it to the customer face-to-face or over the telephone, voice-to-voice, show them how to present it in such a way that the customer bought everything that was presented and did it with such excitement that they gave us a perfect survey score, came back and did business with me, allowing my retention to be well above 80%, and they keep coming back until they're through with the car. They buy another one from my place of business and come back and give me another 5-year run with them. That's what I would do. But what most people do with multi-point inspections is they get them and they do this. I was just in a workshop last week and this is what people told me. They get the multi-point inspection. They tell the customer we're going to do a multi-point inspection. They have their expertly trained technicians do the multi-point inspection and then bring back what they find. And most of these companies are instructing your advisors very wrongly to create an estimate and email it or text it to the customer with a message that says this. Attached to this email and or text is an estimate of what we found with your vehicle. I'd like for you to look over it, read what we found, and you'll find in there what we need to do, what it's going to cost, and text me back within the hour telling me what parts of it you want to do and which ones you don't, and I'll get started. Are you kidding me? When's the last time that somebody texted your email and asked you for $800, $500, $100, and you said yes without talking to them? I mean, you have to understand this is a people business. It's like my veterinarian. I dropped my dog off this morning to get some shots. And I knew it was going to take a while, so I said, just give him his shots. I'll come by and get him at lunchtime. Well, they did their walk around apparently on my dog, and they called me up before lunchtime. They called me back actually within 90 minutes of me dropping him off and said, we just looked at your dog, and did you know that he needs some teeth work done? And they upsold me for $400. Now, if they would have texted me and said, hey, we just got through looking at your dog. He's done with the shots. And by the way, he's got some teeth concerns. It would only be $400 to get it taken care of. If you want to do it, I probably would have said no. But when they got me on the phone and they talked to me and answered my questions over that 3 to 5 minute telephone call, they got the entire sale. We're in the people business. So MPI, yes, if you don't have one, get one, but make sure it comes with a training program that shows your people how to use it. Tablets, should you have those? The best thing about getting a tablet is that it will allow your people to get out from behind the desk and over at the car and do the whole ride up there. It will track data. It will tell you whether or not they're presenting what they should be presenting the like. So I like it for that if you can get your people to use it. But I find most people who have them within 6 months throw them in the closet and never use them. So I like it for that, but in reality, all a tablet is, and it does make you look cooler, I guess, but all a tablet is a new way to write up customers. I mean, back in the day, some of you might remember this, you used to have these hang tags you'd put on the cars with the numbers, and at the bottom had a little tearaway thing for the keys. It had 2 of them on there. I would take one of those and write on those little tearaways what the customer needed. That evolved into a clipboard and something to write on. That evolved into a computer behind a desk, which put us behind the desk. And now we've got a tablet which takes away the computer, so now we can get out on the service drive. It's just a different way to write up the customer. So I would probably have one because I'd hold my people accountable to using it because it would force them to get out to the vehicle, or I would force them to get out the vehicle where all the action is so they could show everything to the customer. It would allow me to track what they can and can't sell and closing ratios and all that stuff. So if you feel like you can do that, then get them. If you know you won't, don't waste your money. It's 6 months, or most of these end up in a closet. But it's up to you. Online reservation systems, should you have them? I probably would. I think they're good if they're used the right way. But again, we're trying to get away from the human interaction, and we're trying to have technology do everything for us. Most of these reservation systems that I've seen today are set up where the customer gets online and that not only schedules a time to bring in their vehicle, but they're literally given options on what they want to have done to their car. Hey, mister, it'll say this, bring in your vehicle in with this many miles, it's close to any of the service. So would you want the best, the good service, a regular service at $100? Do you want the upgraded one for $150, or do you want the super duper one for $300? Now, which one do you think the customer's going to pick if they pick any at all? The cheapest one. Here's the problem with that. The problem is now when the advisor gets hold of the customer and says, I see you took the standard service, let me show you the better ones, the customer's going to say, because we see this happen because we're literally out on service drives, me and my trainers, the customer looks at them and says, yeah, I saw that online, I decided not to do it, just do what I marked there, and the service advisor goes, okay. You know, so what's my point? I would have an online reservation system that did one thing and one thing only, got the customer in. Because the reservation system is replacing what? The telephone call. What was the telephone call for? The telephone call was to find out what the customer needed and get them closed on coming in. Why? Because we know we can't do anything to the car if the car is not here. So the sole purpose of the telephone call was to get the customer in so we could repair it. Same thing with these online reservations. If you get one that's set up to get the customer in, you're fine. Now what I would do to help you upsell from it is I would say, great, we got you set up. We just want to let you know what's going to happen once you get here. Once you get here, we'll go over all this information to make sure that we wrote it down correctly. We'll walk around your vehicle, and if we see anything out of the ordinary, we'll let you know. And if we don't see anything out of the ordinary, we'll let you know that as well. But based on the mileage you've entered in the computer, don't be surprised if your vehicle doesn't need a few more things. I do that, get them set up for what's coming, but I wouldn't ask them to buy anything because once they say no, they've said no. You've really put your advisors against the wall. So reservation, yes, if you're going to use a reservation system simply to close the customer coming in, good idea. If you're buying one and being sold a bill of goods that's going to help you get a bunch of upsells, no, it won't. All right, let's talk about another thing here. We have texting and email, and would I have that? Yes, same thing here. I think texting and email is fine to text a customer and say, come back in, we haven't seen you in a while. I think texting and email is fine to tell a customer after they drop the car off, thanks for dropping it off, I'll be in touch throughout the day. I think texting and email is fine to text somebody and say, hey, your vehicle's in the shop and it's moving through fine. I think it's fine to even text somebody and say, come and get your car. But the two things it should not be used for, that it is being used for, because the company selling it are telling you to do this way, is you don't email and text people estimates without being on the phone when they open it so you can explain what they're getting. You don't try and deliver a vehicle through an email or a text because you're not talking to the customer. So if you're going to use it for that, and that's what they're telling you need it for, don't get it. You need it, it's just nothing more than a way of saying, hey, all it is, it replaces, just want to thank you for coming in today. I just want to let you know your car is in the shop. That's all it replaces, those 2 or 3 phone calls. So do you have to have it? I think most people respond to text and email today, but you cannot send estimates without having the customer on the phone. You're kidding yourself. And then probably the final thing that I have time to talk about here today is this new thing that's out there. And this is the thing that's going to be, I think, the star of the show. And basically what it is, there's a few companies out there who have developed what looks like an ATM, but it's actually a little kiosk. And the way they're selling it is you put that on your service drive instead of advisors, and then when customers come in, they enter their information, and they've got it loaded up with all kinds of with data and menus that says, hey, since you're bringing your vehicle in, it has this many miles on it, it actually needs this service. Do you want the standard one, the better one, or the good one? $100, $150, $300. I mean, nobody's talking to anybody. What do you think your chances are of getting the maximum sales? What do you think your chances are of getting a perfect survey score? And what do you think your chances are of people coming back? I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, we're in the human business. 70% of the people bought or leased a car didn't return to a car dealership last year to do service. Why? There's no reason to. There's no interaction. There's no experience. I mean, technology, when you use it, is boring. Boring. Okay, so would I buy one of those machines? Yes, but not to do what they're trying to sell it to you for. I would buy it and set it outside and use it as my night drop box and my early bird drop off because, you know, instead of having an envelope that gets rained on all that stuff, give them some electronic. They type it all in. It's all there. You can get online 24 hours a day and see who's dropping what off. When they're dropping it off, you could have cameras built into it and all that stuff. So night drop or early bird drop off, I'd use it for that. To replace a service advisor, you'd be insane. Hang on to your money. Now, I just want to close this out by saying one thing, or a couple things here. Now, these are Pro Talk percentages, but do you know we've discovered that the average dealership spends somewhere around $3,500 a month for all this technology. Now, $3,500 a month per rooftop. I mean, if you got 10 dealerships, that's $35,000 a month. And here's what we found: 60% stop using the technology within 90 days, within 3 to 6 months of getting it. I mean, they just don't use it. All right, no matter what it is, and what one of these I talked to, they don't use it. 20% of the people who get the technology will use part of it for just under a year. 18% will use most of it, and 2% use it all. So you can see that we've got about 90% about almost more than 90% of the people out there that don't use everything they're paying for. So based on, and so you got to ask yourself, why don't they use it? Real quick, let me go through this list. Because it doesn't do what the store was told it would do. Because, see, this technology won't get you anything. It's there to enhance the human interaction. It won't do anything itself. It's not pixie dust. Bad training at the install on how to use it is another reason. There's no accountability from the shop end. If you're not willing to hold your people accountable to using this software and this stuff, then don't buy it, because they won't, all right? And people expect it to replace interaction, and it won't. It's there to enhance it, not replace it. So here's what I would do if I were you. I would take that $3,500, let's just assume that your people are using half of it, and they're not using half of it. Let's be conservative. So that means you got $1,750 a month. That's quite a bit of money over a year. You're talking pretty close to what, $22,000? Well, that $22,000 would buy you a training program that would train your people. It would more than buy you a training program that would train your people on how to use this technology and how to sell them. Because I like to say this, do you know what texting, emailing, online reservations, these kiosks, multi-point inspections, online menus, and tablets all have in common? They can't look a customer in the eye and ask them to buy something and the customer buy it all and do it with such enthusiasm that they not only buy it all, but they give you a perfect survey score and come back and continue to come back, allowing you to get the customer retention. They come back until they're through with the car, buy another one, and give you another 5 years. Only your people can do that. So I mean, if you're paying for technology you're not using, cancel it. Get yourself a training program, because with just half of what the average dealership is spending, $1,750 a month, you could get yourself a stellar program to show your people how to interact with your customers. That's what I would do. So now the question becomes, well, who do we look for to do that? That's easy. Me. Dial 1-800-248-2931, 1-800-248-2931, and we'll get your people trained. We're the people to call. Well, and we'll get it done for you. You want perfect survey scores? You want your attention to 80-85%? You want to be at 2.5 hours per repair order, or 3.5 to 4.0 if you're Highline? You call us. That money you're putting into that technology that's not working, you just take half of it and give it to us. We'll show you how to work. We'll give you your best year you've ever had. Hey, my name is Jeff Cowan. That's all I've got for you this week. I'll be back next week. So in the meantime, I want you to do what I always ask you to do. Go help as many customers as you can. Get them so excited about your product that they buy it. And after they buy it, you collect your commission and you live the life you deserve. Because between now and next week, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to find as many customers as I can, get them excited about our training, because it works and it delivers and it actually gets you the numbers that we talk about. And after I do that, I'm going to take my earnings and I'm going to continue to live the life that I have, because I have a great life and I enjoy it, and I want to continue enjoying it. And I've had that lifestyle, by the way, because of human interaction. I still meet people face to face and talk to them on the phone. With that, call me, 1-800-248-2931. I'll see you next week.